Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the channel. Now today I'm going to be delving behind the scenes with a focus on lighting about how I created this product video. Before we dive into this, I just want to give you a little bit of a disclaimer. Like, the lights that I'm using here cost in excess of £4,000. But my point here is that if you're just beginning or if you're just starting out, bear with me please. And I'm probably going to see it in the comments that, well, I don't have all this lighting and that kind of thing. But I suppose the one thing I'm not going to really do today is apologize for these lights, because I believe in good quality lighting, like, over a lot of other things. And I've come to learn that, first I used to be like, oh, I need a new camera or I need a new lens. These days is actually, I need a really good light or a better light. It's really about lighting for me. Okay guys, so this is the baseline setup. This is the baseline lighting for that particular shoot. And I'm just gonna do a live demo for this part of it. And then we can go through the other shots later. But just to set up, just to give you guys an idea of where we are starting from. So just to begin with, I have 1, 2, 3 lights at the moment. And then I'll go through each of them and tell you what they're doing and show you actually what they're doing, live as I make these adjustments and tweaks. These two lights are the rim lights and the background lighting, and this is the key light. So what I'm gonna do is turn off the key light. It's gonna go a bit dark in here, but I like to leave the key light until the very last thing. So I'm gonna set up these ones and then I'll get to that one in a sec. So it'll go dark, but you can actually see what's happening and you can see the effects of me changing these lights on screen as I do that. Right then, so this is the starting point that we have here. We can see that we have the product and it's currently silhouetted against the background. And these lights, as I say, these two LED panels are illuminating the background, and we can change the intensity accordingly if we wanted the background lighter or darker. So at the moment, these two lights are at the same level. So they're about 50%. And that is just giving a nice glow on the background here. So now we're going to introduce the rim lights, and we're going to actually use these same two lights to do just that. So let's start with this one, for example. And as you can see, as I turn this one into the product, we have a rim light on this side. So let's just keep it going all the way around, and we can see how that affects the product. And we can also see how it's affecting the background. So now we're losing it from the background anyway. So when you're using one light for more than one purpose, there's always sort of a compromise into how much control you have. So in this particular situation, I just want to just illuminate the edge on both sides. So I'm going to make that adjustment, come over to this one, and I'm going to do the same. So we have a nice slither of light on both sides of the product, and that is sort of my starting point right there. So now we're going to introduce the key light and we can see what effect that is going to have on the product. So now we have the baseline: background light, rim light, key light. Okay, so let's talk about this key light just for a second. Now this is a strip box, it's a soft box that I've just placed it horizontally. So that is introducing this rim light on the top, and it's also illuminating the front of the product. Now let's just move it around and see how that affects this. So as you can see, I've lost, by putting this up, I'm losing, the lighting at the front here. And I'm also introducing light into the background. And I don't necessarily want this light to affect the background anyway, but I'm just showing you that you really do have to dial in and make a lot of tweaks to get it exactly the way you want it to. So now that is sort of just right. And on this particular product, the label is a little bit reflective. It's not a matte finish. It's got a high gloss finish. And what that means is that we're going to have a little bit more of a challenge in reducing, you know, the hot spots that would be caused by, you know, a more reflective surface. So what I'm going to do to help me to reduce some of that hot spot and just evenly light this a bit better is add some diffusion to this key light right here. So this is a pop-out diffuser. You may have, you know, seen these around before, but this is what I'm going to use just to add an additional layer of diffusion to soften this light a bit more. So if we just pay attention to the front of this of the bottle as we introduce this layer of diffusion over here, we can kind of see that it's already made a difference. If it's difficult to notice, then just have a look at the highlight at the top. So I'm going to take it away. Just focus on the highlight right at the top rim of the bottle, and you can see the difference being introduced as we remove this and as we put it back. So that has definitely softened out that highlight at the top, and so now it's not that much attention seeking up there, so your eyes aren't being particularly drawn to that harsh hot spot right at the top. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. So when I did actually shoot this, I added another layer of diffusion, and as a matter of fact, so this came from another softbox. This is just the diffusion on another softbox. So I took it off there, folded it in two, and, you know, I placed it right at the top there. And again, it just makes it even more, you know, softer and more graded. So bear in mind that obviously the more diffusion that you would add, the softer it'll get, but it means that you're also losing some of the light. So if your light isn't powerful enough, you might not be able to get away with using that much diffusion between the light and the object. So this is the control box for my key light. It's a 300D from Aperture, 300D Mark II. And this is the control box for it. So this is how we created the flashing effect or the fluorescent light effect at the very first shot in the introductory shot. So on here we have a number of settings, but we're not really gonna go through them. I'm just gonna show you how I created that. So that is the effect at the very beginning, as you can see right here. So I just turned on the paparazzi effect, let it play for a couple of seconds, and then turned it off. So we had the main light back in play. And if you can't simulate that lighting effect in camera, or you don't have a light that has that effect, then you can also simulate that in post-production by just chopping out some of the frames so that we have, you know, fade into black and back to light. But in this particular case, if I turn this off, you can see every time it flashed, I still had my rim light illuminated. So that, you know, that it for me is a more desirable effect than just turning everything on and off, as you would have to do if you did it in post-production. And just within that shot as well, we had a little flicker of warm light over the front of the product, and that was created by this little LED light with an orange gel attached to the front of it. And I just timed the shot perfectly and went for a little slide, a little swipe like that. You know, you might have to do it a few times to get the timing right and to get the amount of lighting that you need on this. But this was pretty manual and all in camera, timing it and flicking it through. And this was the same light that was used to create the backlight effect as the product was spinning. And this was also the same light that was used to backlight the product and to backlight the pour. As we poured the oil, that was also lit from a 45-degree angle from behind. So you can see the opacity of that oil pouring out. So as we can see, I mean, I think backlighting is such an underrated technique, but it brings so much more depth and life to whatever it is that you're trying to illuminate. So as we can see, you know, there's so many things that you can kind of just create, so much motion with light. And that is kind of one of the things that I did with this particular video. I created a lot of motion by just using lights and lighting effect. So as long as there's something moving within the shot, then we're good. So the lights moving on the background, you know, this moving from side to side, it's all motion. And this was also the light that was used to really illuminate the grains as we were flying through the valley of grains. So we really had to keep this right at the end of the lens to really see anything at all, because even with this lighting setup as it is, and that, you know, the grain being black, you couldn't really see it at all. You just wasn't seeing it. So this was so key, you know, to have to, and to be able to move along with it as we move through the frame, so we can actually illuminate and see what's happening on the ground. And one of the biggest challenges whilst doing that was trying to keep this light off the bottle. And because this is a very small and very bright light source, this was just gonna eat this up. It's just gonna blow everything out on this surface right here. Because like I said before, this is quite reflective. It's not a matte finish. And it just ate it up. And this is why we had to have all of this diffusion in the first place. So this is just a perfect example to show you what would happen if you did not really have that. You would just have these hot spots. Let's take it all the way across there, all the way. And it's still so bright. You can't see any details on the front there. So that is actually a good demonstration as to why you need, you know, diffusion, and you need to modify your lights accordingly. And this little light is one of my favorite lights that I'm always using all the time now. I mean, it even has the lighting effects that its big brother has got. This particular one is also waterproof up to 10 meters. So I use this a lot when I'm doing shots with water in the fish tank. I can put this into the fish tank at the bottom, so I can, you know, light up anything from below. It's such a versatile, and it's bright. So I'm gonna leave a link to this, and I'm gonna leave a link to all these other lights in the description below if you wanted to check them out. Do a little bit more research on the specifications and the prices of these ones. But yeah, this one, you're a winner. So that was a look at the lighting, you know, behind the scenes of this particular shoot. And you know, the thing is, every setup is going to be different, and there are so many variables when it comes to lighting and how, you know, how different objects react to light and behave. So it's a matter of a lot of times trial and error and tweaking to get exactly to the point that you want. And the more control that you have over your lighting, the more you're going to be better able to create exactly what it is that you are thinking. So if you're able to control the color of the lights, if you're able to control the temperature, you're able to control the power or the intensity, the direction, you're going to modify the lights. You know, there's so many effects that you can create from just having even a single light or multiple lights on your set. But that is it for today, guys. I hope that you found this quite interesting. It was a different spin on what I've done before, because I'm just focusing on lighting, because I believe that to be one of the key elements of essentially photography and video in this case. So I hope you found this useful. Hope you found it inspiring. Just don't be afraid to change it up, mix it up, get it wrong, get it really wrong. And then that's the only way you're going to be really able to tweak and learn from your experiences. And so the next time when you come back to this position, you're already starting here, you know. So anyway, that's it for me from today and for this video. Go smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. A lot of people are watching this channel and are not subscribers. Subscribe to the thing, man, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.